Tonight, we will embark on a journey into the heart of tranquility, exploring the timeless wisdom of Zen. We won't be delving into complex doctrines or abstract theories, but rather, we will be touching upon simple, profound truths that have guided souls to serenity for centuries. Before we begin, please feel free to share the time and your location in the comments below. It's a beautiful way for us to connect, knowing that we are all sharing this moment of peace together from all corners of the world. Zen teaches us that life's struggles often arise not from the world itself, but from our resistance to it. It is in the gentle act of surrender, of letting go of our tight grip on how we believe things should be, that we find true peace. It is in the quiet acceptance of what is that we discover a profound sense of ease. This evening, we will explore what it means to release the constant effort to control, and instead, to trust in the natural, unfolding rhythm of the universe. The wisdom we will uncover tonight is not about striving to become someone new, but about recognizing the peace that already resides within you. The serenity you seek is not in some distant future or faraway place. It is as close as your next breath, as present as this very moment. You don't need to do anything special. Simply allow yourself to listen with a quiet and open heart. Let these words and stories wash over you like a gentle stream, carrying away the burdens of the day. Some of what you hear will resonate deeply, while other parts may simply drift by. Both are perfectly all right. Take a slow, deep breath and allow your body to sink into a state of complete comfort. Let go of the day that has passed and allow yourself to be fully present, right here, right now. Our journey into the heart of Zen begins. In a village nestled by a winding river and shaded by ancient bamboo groves, there lived a potter named Kaito. His hands, though stained with the earth of 1,000 creations, were known for their extraordinary skill. From his wheel emerged pottery of exquisite beauty, each piece a testament to his dedication and precision. Kaito's fame had spread beyond the village, and merchants would travel for days to purchase his work. Yet, despite his success, Kaito's heart was seldom at ease. Kaito was a perfectionist. He believed that the path to mastery was paved with absolute control. He measured his clay with exacting precision, his water to the very drop. He had charts that dictated the speed of his wheel for each specific form, and he would spend hours, sometimes days, refining a single curve, a single lip, a single foot of a vase or a bowl. His brow was often furrowed in concentration, his shoulders tense with the effort of his will. His wife, a gentle soul named Hana, would watch him from the doorway of his workshop. She would see the flicker of the lantern late into the night and hear the soft, rhythmic whir of the wheel, a sound that had become a constant, almost anxious, hum in their lives. "Come and rest, my love," she would say, her voice a soft melody against the hum of the wheel. "The clay will be there tomorrow." But Kaito would only shake his head, his eyes never leaving the spinning form before him. For him, there was always one more adjustment to be made, one more imperfection to conquer. When the time came to fire his creations, Kaito's anxiety would reach its peak. The kiln, a dragon of earth and fire, was the one element he could not fully command. He would watch the smoke rise from its chimney with a knot in his stomach, his mind filled with 1,000 worries. Would the heat be too intense? Would the glazes run? Would the delicate forms crack under the stress of the fire? He would pace before the sealed door of the kiln, a prisoner of his own expectations. Next to Kaito's workshop lived an old man named Jin, who had once been a potter himself. Jin's hands were gnarled with age, his movements slow and deliberate. He no longer worked the wheel, but he would spend his days tending to his small garden, a vibrant tapestry of greens and colors that seemed to flourish with a life of its own. Jin would often see Kaito in his workshop, his face a mask of intense concentration, and he would simply smile, a knowing, gentle smile. One season, a prolonged drought fell upon the land. The river shrank, and the earth grew hard and cracked. The clay that Kaito used, which he sourced from a special bend in the river, became difficult to work with. It was dry and brittle, and it resisted his every touch. His usual precision was no longer enough. The clay would not yield to his will. His pots would collapse on the wheel, or crack as they dried. His workshop, once a place of creation, became a graveyard of failed attempts. Kaito's frustration grew with each passing day. He worked longer hours, his muscles aching, his spirit growing heavy. He tried adding more water, but the clay would become too soft and lose its form. He tried working it with more force, but it would only crumble in his hands. The joy he had once found in his craft was replaced by a bitter sense of struggle. He was at war with the clay, and the clay was winning. One evening, as the sun was setting, casting long shadows across the parched earth, Jin appeared at the doorway of Kaito's workshop. He held in his hands a small, perfectly formed teacup. It was a simple cup, unadorned, yet it radiated a sense of profound peace. Kaito looked at the cup, then at the pile of broken pottery in the corner of his workshop. A wave of despair washed over him. "The clay is fighting me," Kaito said, his voice rough with exhaustion. "I have tried everything, but it will not obey." Jin looked at Kaito, his eyes filled with a gentle compassion. "You are trying to force the clay to be what it is not," he said softly. "You are trying to impose your will upon it. But the clay has a spirit of its own. It is not your servant. It is your partner." He then invited Kaito to his garden. Kaito, with no spirit left to argue, followed him. Jin's garden was a marvel. Despite the drought, it was thriving. The leaves of his plants were green and vibrant, the soil dark and moist. "How is this possible?" Kaito asked, his voice filled with a sense of wonder. "The earth is so dry, yet your garden is so full of life." Jin smiled. "I do not force my garden to grow," he said. "I listen to it, I watch it, I learn from it. When the earth is dry, I give it water. When the sun is harsh, I give it shade. I do not tell the seeds when to sprout, or the flowers when to bloom. I simply create the conditions for them to flourish, and then I trust in their own innate wisdom to do the rest." He then led Kaito to a small stream that trickled through the back of his garden. It was a tiny stream, barely a whisper of water, but it flowed with a steady, gentle persistence. "This stream is small," Jin said, "but it has found its way from the mountains to the river. It does not force its way through the rocks. It flows around them. It does not try to climb the hills. It finds the path of least resistance. It yields, and in its yielding, it finds its way." Kaito looked at the stream, then back at his own hands, caked with dry clay. He had been trying to force the clay, to bend it to his will. He had been fighting a battle that could not be won. He had forgotten that the clay, like the stream, had a nature of its own. He had forgotten how to listen. The next morning, Kaito returned to his workshop with a different heart. He took a lump of the dry, difficult clay, and instead of immediately trying to shape it, he simply held it in his hands. He closed his eyes and felt its texture, its weight, its dryness. He listened to it. He then began to work the clay, not with force, but with a gentle, patient touch. He added water slowly, not according to a measurement, but according to the feel of the clay in his hands. He worked with the clay, not against it. To his surprise, the clay began to respond. It softened in his hands, becoming pliable and smooth. It was still a challenging clay to work with, but it was no longer an enemy. It was a partner in a dance. That day, Kaito did not create a perfect vase or an intricate bowl. He simply created a small, humble teacup, much like the one Jin had shown him. It was not perfect. It had flaws, but it was alive. It had a spirit, and for the first time in a long time, Kaito felt a sense of peace. He had learned that true mastery is not about control. It is about listening, about yielding, about trusting in the wisdom of the clay, the wisdom of the water, the wisdom of the fire. It is about letting go, and in that letting go, finding a deeper connection to the world and to himself. As you settle into the comfort of your bed, let the story of Kaito be a gentle reminder that so much of our struggle in life comes from our attempt to control the uncontrollable. We try to shape our lives with the force of our will, to bend the world to our expectations. We fight against the current, and we exhaust ourselves in the process. But what if, just for tonight, we could be like Kaito in his moment of awakening? What if we could let go of our grip, just a little? What if we could stop fighting and start listening to the wisdom of our own bodies, the wisdom of our own hearts, the wisdom of this very moment? Your body knows how to rest. Your heart knows how to be at peace. You don't need to force it. You don't need to control it. You simply need to create the conditions for rest to arise, and then trust in its innate wisdom. Let go of the day that has passed. Let go of the worries about tomorrow. Let go of the need to figure everything out. Just for tonight, allow yourself to be like the clay in Kaito's gentle hands, yielding, softening, finding your own natural form. Allow yourself to be like the stream in Jin's garden, flowing around the obstacles, finding the path of least resistance. Allow yourself to simply be, right here, right now, in this moment of perfect peace. In the quiet of the night, our minds often become a stage for a play of thoughts of the past, replaying conversations, reliving moments of joy or regret, thoughts of the future, planning, worrying, anticipating. These thoughts, like actors on a stage, command our attention, and we, the audience, become so engrossed in their drama that we forget that we are not the play. We are the theater in which the play is unfolding. Zen wisdom offers a beautiful and liberating perspective on the nature of our thoughts. It teaches us that thoughts are like clouds in the sky. They appear, they drift, and they disappear. They are not solid, not permanent, not personal. They are simply a natural phenomenon of the mind, like clouds are a natural phenomenon of the sky. You are not the clouds, you are the sky. Imagine yourself lying on a soft patch of grass on a warm summer day. You are looking up at the vast blue expanse of the sky. You see clouds of all shapes and sizes. Some are white and fluffy, like cotton balls. Others are dark and heavy, pregnant with rain. They drift across the sky, moved by the gentle currents of the wind. They change their shape, they merge, they separate, and eventually they dissolve back into the blue from which they came. As you watch these clouds, you don't try to control them. You don't try to hold on to the beautiful ones or push away the dark ones. You simply watch them pass. You know that they are not the sky. The sky is the vast, open, unchanging space in which the clouds appear. The sky is not affected by the clouds. It is not stained by the dark ones or improved by the beautiful ones. It remains, always, pure, open, and serene. Now, bring this same quality of awareness to the sky of your own mind. Your thoughts are the clouds. Some are pleasant, like the fluffy white clouds. They are thoughts of love, of joy, of gratitude. Others are unpleasant, like the dark storm clouds. They are thoughts of fear, of anger, of sadness. They too drift across the sky of your mind, moved by the currents of your life. Our tendency is to identify with these clouds. When a happy thought appears, we cling to it, trying to make it stay. When a sad thought appears, we resist it, trying to push it away. We become so entangled in the drama of the clouds that we forget that we are the sky. We forget that we are the vast, open, unchanging awareness in which these thoughts appear. But what if, just for tonight, you could rest as the sky? What if you could allow your thoughts to come and go without getting caught up in their stories? What if you could watch them with the same gentle, non-judgmental awareness with which you watch the clouds in the sky? A thought of worry appears. I have so much to do tomorrow. You see it. You acknowledge it. You don't try to push it away. You don't get caught up in the story of all the things you have to do. You simply watch it as it drifts by. It is a cloud. It is not you. A thought of regret appears. I wish I had said things differently. You see it. You acknowledge it. You don't get lost in the past. You don't beat yourself up for what you did or didn't do. You simply watch it as it drifts by. It is a cloud. It is not you. A thought of joy appears. Today was a good day. You see it. You acknowledge it. You don't cling to it, trying to hold on to the feeling. You simply savor it as it passes, like the warmth of the sun on your skin. It is a cloud. It is not you. This is the practice of mindfulness, of being the sky and not the clouds. It is not about stopping your thoughts. That would be like trying to stop the clouds from appearing in the sky. It is about changing your relationship to your thoughts. It is about realizing that you are the spacious awareness in which they arise and pass away. Let's return to our story. In a monastery nestled high in the mountains, there lived a young monk named Ren. Ren was a diligent student, and he was particularly troubled by his own busy mind. During meditation, his thoughts would race like wild horses, pulling him in 1,000 different directions. He longed for the inner peace that his master, a wise old monk named Kenji, seemed to embody so effortlessly. One day, Ren approached Kenji and bowed deeply. "Master," he said, "my mind is a storm of thoughts. I try to quiet them, but they only seem to grow louder. How can I find the stillness that you speak of?" Kenji smiled, his eyes twinkling with a gentle wisdom. He led Ren to a small pond at the edge of the monastery. The surface of the pond was perfectly still, reflecting the clear blue sky and the surrounding mountains like a mirror. "What do you see, Ren?" Kenji asked. "I see the sky, the mountains, the trees," Ren replied. "I see a perfect reflection of the world." Kenji then picked up a small pebble and tossed it into the center of the pond. The pebble broke the surface, and ripples spread out in all directions, distorting the reflection. The sky, the mountains, the trees, all became a blur of moving lines and colors. "Now what do you see?" Kenji asked. "The reflection is gone," Ren said. "There is only movement, only confusion." "Your mind is like this pond, Ren," Kenji said. "Your thoughts are the ripples. When you try to fight them, you are like a hand trying to smooth the water. You only create more ripples. But if you simply allow the ripples to be, if you simply watch them without judgment, they will eventually settle on their own, and the clarity of your true nature will be revealed." Ren sat by the pond for a long time, watching the ripples slowly subside. He watched as the surface of the water grew still once more, and the perfect reflection of the sky and the mountains returned. He realized that he had been trying to fight his own mind, to force it into submission. He had been creating more ripples with his own resistance. From that day on, Ren's practice of meditation changed. When a thought appeared in his mind, he no longer saw it as an enemy. He saw it as a ripple on the surface of the pond. He would simply acknowledge it and then gently return his attention to his breath. He did not try to push the thought away. He did not get caught up in its story. He simply allowed it to be, knowing that it would eventually pass and the stillness of his true nature would remain. Tonight, as you lie in your bed, you can be like Ren. You can be the still pond, and your thoughts can be the ripples. You don't need to fight them. You don't need to get caught up in their drama. You can simply watch them as they arise and pass away. You can rest in the knowledge that you are the still, clear water, and the ripples are just a temporary disturbance on your surface. With each breath, feel yourself sinking deeper into this state of quiet observation. With each exhale, feel yourself letting go of the need to control your thoughts. Allow them to be as they are. They are just clouds in the sky of your mind. They are just ripples on the surface of the pond of your being. You are the sky. You are the pond. You are the vast, open, peaceful awareness that lies beneath it all. In this space of quiet awareness, you may begin to notice something else. You may begin to notice the subtle sensations in your body, the feeling of the blankets against your skin, the gentle rise and fall of your chest with each breath, the warmth in your hands, the coolness of the air on your face. These sensations have been here all along, but they have been drowned out by the noise of your thoughts. As you bring your attention to these sensations, you are bringing your awareness back to the present moment. You are anchoring yourself in the here and now. The past is a memory. The future is a dream. The only reality is this moment, right here, right now. And in this moment, there is peace, there is stillness, there is you. Rest now in this peaceful awareness. Rest as the sky and let the clouds of your thoughts drift by. Rest as the still pond and let the ripples of your mind settle. Rest in the simple, profound truth of this present moment. There is nothing to do, nothing to achieve, nothing to become. There is only this moment and the peace that resides within it. Sleep now, sleep deeply, sleep well. There is a story in Zen about a man who is walking through a field when he comes across a tiger. He flees, the tiger close behind him. He comes to the edge of a cliff and he sees a vine hanging down. He grabs the vine and begins to climb down. But as he does, he sees another tiger at the bottom of the cliff, waiting for him. His situation seems hopeless. There is a tiger above him and a tiger below him. Then he sees two mice, one white and one black, gnawing at the vine he is holding onto. He knows that at any moment, the vine will break and he will fall to the tiger below. Just then, he sees a beautiful, ripe strawberry growing on the vine. He plucks it and he eats it, and it is the most delicious strawberry he has ever tasted. This story, at first, may seem strange, even absurd, but it holds a profound teaching about the nature of life and the path to peace. The tiger above represents the past, the things that have happened to us, the regrets, the sorrows, the things we cannot change. The tiger below represents the future, the things we worry about, the uncertainties, the fears, the things we cannot control. The vine represents our life, the fragile thread that we are holding on to. And the two mice, one white and one black, represent day and night, the relentless passage of time that is slowly but surely gnawing away at our life. And the strawberry? The strawberry is this present moment. It is the only thing that is real. It is the only thing we have. So often, we live our lives like the man on the vine, but we are so focused on the tiger above and the tiger below that we don't even notice the strawberry. We are so consumed by our past and our future that we miss the sweetness of the present moment. We spend our days replaying old conversations in our minds, wishing we had said things differently. We carry the weight of our past mistakes like a heavy burden on our shoulders. We are haunted by the ghosts of what was. This is the tiger above, and it is a fearsome beast. We spend our nights worrying about what tomorrow will bring. Will I be successful? Will I be happy? Will I be safe? We create 1,000 different scenarios in our minds, most of them negative, and we suffer from them as if they were real. This is the tiger below, and it is a terrifying creature. And all the while, the mice of day and night are gnawing away at our vine. Our life is passing by, moment by moment, and we are not even here to experience it. We are lost in the past, or lost in the future. We are everywhere but here. But what if, just for tonight, we could be like the man on the vine in his moment of awakening? What if we could acknowledge the tigers, but not be consumed by them? What if we could see the mice, but not be paralyzed by fear? What if we could turn our attention to the strawberry? What is the strawberry of this present moment? It is the feeling of your breath as it enters and leaves your body. It is the sensation of the blankets against your skin. It is the sound of the silence in the room. It is the gentle beating of your own heart. It is simple, it is ordinary, but it is real, and it is sweet. It is the sweetness of being alive. Let's return to our story. In a small village, there lived a woman named Amaya. Amaya was a weaver, and she created the most beautiful fabrics in all the land. Her fabrics were known for their intricate patterns and their vibrant colors. But Amaya was not a happy woman. She was a worrier. She worried about everything. She worried that her threads would break. She worried that her colors would fade. She worried that her patterns would be crooked. She worried that no one would buy her fabrics. She worried that she would not be able to provide for her family. Her mind was a constant whirlwind of worries. She was so focused on what could go wrong that she could not enjoy the beauty of what she was creating. The joy of weaving, which she had once loved so much, had become a source of constant anxiety. One day, an old monk came to her village. He saw Amaya at her loom, her face etched with worry. He watched her for a long time, and then he approached her. "You weave with great skill," he said, "but you do not weave with a joyful heart." Amaya looked up, her eyes filled with tears. "I am so afraid, Master," she said. "I am so afraid of failing." The monk smiled. "You are like a person who is so afraid of the dark that they keep their eyes closed all the time," he said. "You are so afraid of what might happen that you are missing what is happening right now." He then took a single thread from her loom. It was a beautiful thread, the color of the sky at dawn. "Look at this thread, Amaya," he said. "It is beautiful, is it not?" Amaya nodded. "This thread is this moment, Amaya," the monk said. "It is perfect, just as it is. You do not need to worry about the thread that came before it, or the thread that will come after it. You only need to be with this thread, right now. And if you can be with this thread, with all of your attention, with all of your heart, then you will weave a beautiful fabric, one thread at a time." From that day on, Amaya's weaving changed. When she sat at her loom, she would take a deep breath, and she would bring all of her attention to the single thread in her hand. She would feel its texture. She would see its color. She would be fully present with it. She still had worries, but they were no longer the center of her world. The center of her world was the thread in her hand, the strawberry of the present moment. And a strange thing happened. The more she focused on the present moment, the more beautiful her fabrics became. They were not just technically perfect. They were alive. They had a soul. And people came from all over to buy them, not just because they were beautiful, but because they could feel the peace and the joy that had been woven into them. Tonight, as you lie in your bed, you can be like Amaya. You can let go of the tigers of your past and your future, and you can turn your attention to the strawberry of this present moment. You can bring all of your awareness to the simple sensation of your breath, the thread of this moment. Feel the gentle rise and fall of your chest. Feel the cool air as it enters your nostrils, and the warm air as it leaves. There is nothing to do, nothing to achieve. Just be with your breath. Be with this moment. And in this moment, you will find a peace that is sweeter than any strawberry, a joy that is more beautiful than any fabric. Rest now. Rest in the sweetness of this present moment. Let the tigers of your past and future fade into the distance. Let the mice of time do their work. You are here, now, and that is all that matters. Sleep now. Sleep in the peace of this perfect, present moment. In the world of Zen, there is a concept known as beginner's mind. It is the mind that is open, eager, and free of preconceptions. It is the mind of a child who is seeing the world for the first time, with a sense of wonder and curiosity. In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. In the expert's mind, there are few. As we grow older, we tend to lose our beginner's mind. We become experts in our own lives. We think we know how things are and how they should be. We have fixed ideas, opinions, and beliefs. We see the world through a filter of our past experiences, and we lose the ability to see things as they truly are. We see a flower, and we think, that is a rose. We don't really see the flower. We see our idea of a rose. We miss the delicate curve of its petals, the subtle variations in its color, the unique fragrance that it is releasing in this very moment. We miss the miracle of the flower itself. We meet a person, and we think, that is a difficult person. We don't really see the person. We see our judgment of them. We miss the humanity in their eyes, the story that has shaped them, the goodness that lies within them. We miss the opportunity for a genuine connection. We face a situation, and we think, this is a problem. We don't really see the situation. We see our fear of it. We miss the opportunity for growth, the lesson that it is offering us, the hidden gift that it contains. But what if, just for tonight, we could let go of our expert mind and embrace our beginner's mind? What if we could see the world with fresh eyes, as if for the very first time? What if we could let go of our judgments, our beliefs, our expectations, and simply be open to what is? Let's return to our story. In a bustling city, there lived a scholar named Etsuko. Etsuko was a woman of great learning. She had read all the books. She had studied all the philosophies. She had mastered all the arguments. She was an expert in the art of thinking. But Etsuko was not a happy woman. Her mind was a prison of her own making. She was so full of knowledge that there was no room for wonder. She was so full of opinions that there was no room for truth. She was so full of herself that there was no room for life. One day, she heard of a Zen master who lived in a simple hut on the outskirts of the city. His name was Ryotan, and it was said that he was a man of great wisdom. Etsuko decided to visit him, to test his wisdom, to see if he was as smart as she was. She arrived at his hut and found him sitting on the floor, drinking a cup of tea. He was a simple man, with a kind face and a gentle smile. Etsuko, without even bowing, began to speak. She spoke of all the books she had read, all the philosophies she had studied, all the ideas she had mastered. She spoke for a long time, her voice filling the small hut with a torrent of words. Ryotan listened patiently, his smile never wavering. When Etsuko finally finished, he picked up the teapot and began to pour tea into her cup. He poured until the cup was full, and then he kept pouring. The tea overflowed, spilling onto the floor. "What are you doing?" Etsuko shouted, jumping to her feet. "The cup is full. It can't hold any more." Ryotan stopped pouring and looked at Etsuko, his eyes full of a gentle compassion. "You are like this cup, Etsuko," he said softly. "You are so full of your own ideas and opinions that there is no room for anything new. If you want to receive the wisdom of Zen, you must first empty your cup." Etsuko was stunned into silence. In that moment, she realized the truth of Ryotan's words. She had been so proud of her full cup that she had not realized that it was also a prison. She had been so busy collecting knowledge that she had forgotten how to learn. She had been so busy being an expert that she had forgotten how to be a beginner. She bowed deeply to Ryotan, her heart full of a newfound humility. From that day on, she became his student. She learned to empty her cup, to let go of her fixed ideas, to see the world with a beginner's mind. And in that emptiness, she found a wisdom that was deeper than any book, a joy that was greater than any idea. Tonight, as you lie in your bed, you can be like Etsuko in her moment of awakening. You can empty your cup. You can let go of all the things you think you know. You can let go of your judgments, your beliefs, your expectations. You can let go of your expert mind, and you can embrace your beginner's mind. With each breath, feel yourself becoming more empty, more open, more receptive. With each exhale, feel yourself releasing the need to be right, the need to know, the need to be in control. Allow yourself to be a beginner again. Allow yourself to see the world with fresh eyes. Feel the sensation of the blankets on your skin as if you have never felt it before. Listen to the silence in the room as if you have never heard it before. Feel the gentle rhythm of your breath as if you are breathing for the very first time. In this emptiness, in this openness, in this beginner's mind, there is a world of wonder waiting to be discovered. There is a peace that comes from not knowing. There is a freedom that comes from letting go of control. There is a joy that comes from seeing the world as it is, not as we think it should be. Rest now, in this empty, open beginner's mind. Rest in the wonder of this moment. Rest in the peace of not knowing. Sleep now. Sleep in the endless possibilities of the beginner's mind. In the journey of life, we often carry a heavy burden on our backs. It is the burden of the self, the idea of who we are, who we should be, and who we are not. This self is a construction of our mind, a collection of memories, beliefs, and stories. It is the I that we are so attached to, the I that we are so busy defending, promoting, and perfecting. We think that this self is who we are, but in the wisdom of Zen, it is seen as a source of our suffering. It is the self that feels hurt, the self that feels proud, the self that feels afraid. It is the self that separates us from the world, that creates a sense of me versus you, of mine versus yours. But what if this self is not as solid as it seems? What if it is more like a story that we are telling ourselves, a story that we can learn to hold more lightly? What if, beneath the story of the self, there is a deeper, more spacious reality, a reality that is not separate from the world, but is one with it? Let's return to our story. In a small fishing village, there lived a man named Kenjiro. Kenjiro was a strong man, a skilled fisherman, and a respected member of his community. But Kenjiro had a secret. He was terrified of the ocean. Every day, he would go out in his small boat, and every day, he would be filled with a sense of dread. He was afraid of the waves, the wind, the vast, unpredictable power of the sea. He saw the ocean as an enemy, a force that he had to conquer, a threat that he had to survive. He had built a strong boat. He had learned all the skills of navigation. He had studied the weather patterns. He had done everything he could to protect himself, to make himself safe. But the fear never left him. It was a constant companion, a cold knot in the pit of his stomach. One day, a great storm descended upon the village. The sky turned black, the wind howled, and the waves rose like mountains. All the boats rushed back to the harbor, but Kenjiro's boat was caught in the storm. He was tossed about in the churning sea, his small boat creaking and groaning under the strain. He fought with all his strength, his muscles straining, his heart pounding with terror. He was sure that he was going to die. He was sure that the ocean was going to swallow him whole. He was filled with a sense of utter despair. And then, in the midst of his struggle, something strange happened. He let go. He let go of the oars. He let go of the fear. He let go of the fight. He surrendered. He lay down in the bottom of his boat, and he gave himself to the storm. And in that moment of surrender, everything changed. The roar of the storm became a symphony. The tossing of the waves became a dance. The fear in his heart was replaced by a sense of profound peace. He was no longer Kenjiro, the fisherman, fighting against the ocean. He was the ocean. He was the storm. He was the wind, the waves, the rain. He had lost himself, and in doing so, he had found everything. He had discovered that he was not separate from the ocean, but was a part of it. He had discovered that the power of the ocean was his own power, that the life of the ocean was his own life. The storm eventually passed, and Kenjiro's boat drifted back to the shore. He was a changed man. He was no longer afraid of the ocean. He no longer saw it as an enemy. He saw it as his home. He had learned to let go of the small self, the self that was afraid, and he had discovered the larger self, the self that was one with the universe. Tonight, as you lie in your bed, you can be like Kenjiro in his moment of awakening. You can let go of the small self, the self that is full of fears, worries, and attachments. You can let go of the story of who you are, and you can rest in the mystery of what you are. With each breath, Feel the boundaries of yourself dissolving. With each exhale, feel yourself merging with the world around you. You are not just a body lying in a bed. You are the air that you are breathing, the silence that you are hearing, the darkness that you are seeing. You are the universe, experiencing itself. There is a deep peace that comes from this realization. There is a profound joy that comes from this connection. There is an unshakable strength that comes from this unity. You are not alone. You are not separate. You are a part of everything, and everything is a part of you. Rest now in this boundless, spacious, interconnected being that you are. Let go of the burden of the self. Let go of the need to be someone. Simply be. Be the ocean. Be the storm. Be the peace that lies at the heart of it all. Sleep now. Sleep in the vast, loving embrace of the universe. As our journey together this evening comes to a close, let us rest for a moment in the gentle wisdom that we have explored. We have walked with Kaito, the potter, and learned the beauty of letting go of control. We have sat with Ren, the monk, and discovered that we are the sky, not the clouds. We have tasted the strawberry with Amaya, the weaver, and found the sweetness of the present moment. We have emptied our cup with Etsuko, the scholar, and embraced the wonder of a beginner's mind. And we have surrendered to the storm with Kenjiro, the fisherman, and realized that we are one with the universe. These are not just stories, they are invitations. They are invitations to a different way of being, a way of being that is more peaceful, more joyful, more free. They are invitations to come home to yourself, to the peace that is your true nature. You don't need to remember all of these stories. You don't need to strive to be like these characters. The seeds of this wisdom have already been planted in your heart. They will grow in their own time, in their own way. All you need to do is to water them with your attention, with your awareness, with your love. As you drift off to sleep, know that you are held in a vast and loving embrace. You are a part of a universe that is wise, beautiful, and mysterious. You are a wave in the ocean of being, a star in the constellation of life. You are perfect, just as you are. May you rest deeply tonight. May you wake up refreshed and renewed, and may you carry the peace of this moment with you into your day tomorrow. Thank you for sharing this time with me. Before you drift off completely, feel free to leave a comment, letting us know what time it is where you are, and from what corner of the world you are listening. It is a beautiful way to feel our connection, to know that we are all in this together, sharing this journey of life. In a city renowned for its vibrant arts scene, there lived a musician named Akio. Akio was a master of the shakuhachi, a traditional Japanese bamboo flute. His music was technically brilliant, each note precise and clear. He could play the most complex pieces with an effortless grace that left other musicians in awe. Yet, for all his skill, Akio's music lacked a certain something. It was perfect, but it was cold. It was like a flawless diamond that did not sparkle. Akio was acutely aware of this. He practiced for hours every day, striving for a perfection that always seemed just out of reach. He sought out the most famous teachers, learning their techniques and memorizing their compositions. He believed that if he could just play with enough precision, with enough control, he would finally be able to create the music that his heart longed to express. His apartment was filled with books on music theory, and his walls were covered with charts of fingerings and breathing exercises. He approached his music like a scientist, analyzing every note, every phrase, every silence. He had turned the art of music into a science of perfection, and in doing so, he had lost the very soul of it. One evening, After a performance that had been met with polite but unenthusiastic applause, Akio was walking home, his heart heavy with a familiar sense of disappointment. He passed by a small, unassuming park, and from within it, he heard the sound of a shakuhachi. The music was simple, almost childlike. It was full of imperfections. There were missed notes and moments of hesitation. Yet, it was the most beautiful music Akio had ever heard. It was alive. It was breathing. It was full of a raw, honest emotion that his own perfect music lacked. He followed the sound and found an old man sitting on a bench, his eyes closed, his body swaying gently with the rhythm of his own playing. The man was not a performer. He was simply playing for himself, for the trees, for the moon that was rising in the sky. He was not trying to impress anyone. He was not trying to be perfect. He was simply expressing the music that was in his heart. Akio stood there for a long time, hidden in the shadows, listening. He was humbled. He was inspired. He was heartbroken. He realized that he had been so focused on the notes that he had forgotten the music. He had been so focused on the technique that he had forgotten the feeling. He had been so focused on perfection that he had forgotten the beauty of imperfection. He approached the old man, who had now finished playing and was simply sitting in the silence. "Your music is beautiful," Akio said, his voice barely a whisper. The old man opened his eyes and smiled. "It is not my music," he said. "It is the music of the wind in the bamboo. It is the music of the moon in the sky. It is the music of this moment. I am just the flute." Akio did not understand. "But you were playing it," he said. "No," the old man said. "I was listening to it, and I was allowing it to play me." From that day on, Akio's relationship with his music changed. He still practiced, but he no longer strived for perfection. He strived for connection. He would go to the park and sit on the bench where he had met the old man, and he would simply listen. He would listen to the sound of the wind, the rustling of the leaves, the chirping of the birds. He would listen to the silence. And then he would begin to play. He would not play the complex pieces he had memorized. He would play the music of the moment. He would play the music of his heart. His music was no longer perfect. It was full of imperfections, but it was alive. It was breathing. It was beautiful. Tonight, as you lie in your bed, you can be like Akio in his moment of awakening. You can let go of the need to be perfect. You can let go of the need to control. You can simply listen. Listen to the music of this moment, the gentle rhythm of your breath, the soft beating of your heart, the silence that surrounds you. This is the music of your life. It is not a performance. It is a prayer. It is not a test. It is a gift. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present. You don't need to be a master. You just need to be a listener. Rest now in the beautiful, imperfect music of this moment. Let it wash over you like a gentle wave. Let it soothe your soul like a sweet lullaby. Let it carry you into a deep and peaceful sleep. Sleep now. Sleep in the music of the universe. In the heart of Zen, there is a deep understanding of impermanence. Everything is in a constant state of flux. Nothing is permanent. Nothing is fixed. The flower that blooms in the morning withers in the evening. The river that flows today is not the same river that will flow tomorrow. The person you are today is not the same person you were yesterday, or the person you will be tomorrow. This may sound like a sad or even a frightening idea. We long for permanence. We want to hold on to the things we love. We want to keep the people we care about safe. We want to build a life that is stable and secure. The idea that everything is constantly changing can feel like a threat to our very sense of security. But in the wisdom of Zen, impermanence is not a source of sadness. It is a source of joy. It is the very thing that makes life precious. It is because the flower is impermanent that we appreciate its beauty so much. It is because life is impermanent that we cherish each moment so deeply. It is because we are impermanent that we have the capacity to grow, to change, to transform. Imagine a river. It is always flowing, always changing. It is never the same river twice. If the river were to stop flowing, if it were to become a stagnant pond, it would lose its life. It would become a breeding ground for decay. It is the very fact that it is always changing that makes it a river, that gives it its vitality, its power, its beauty. Your life is like a river. It is always flowing, always changing. You are not a fixed entity. You are a process. You are a dance of change. And in this dance, there is a great beauty, a great freedom, a great joy. Let's return to our story. In a village that was known for its cherry blossoms, there lived a woman named Sakura. Sakura loved the cherry blossoms more than anything in the world. Every spring, she would wait with eager anticipation for the first buds to appear on the trees. She would watch as they slowly opened, revealing their delicate pink and white petals. And then, for a few glorious days, the entire village would be transformed into a sea of blossoms. It was a time of great beauty, of great joy, of great celebration. But for Sakura, it was also a time of great sadness, because she knew that the blossoms would not last. She knew that they would soon fall, and the trees would be bare again. She would stand under the blossoming trees, her heart filled with a sense of impending loss. She was so afraid of losing the blossoms that she could not fully enjoy their presence. One year, a Zen master came to the village to see the cherry blossoms. He saw Sakura standing under a tree, her face a mixture of joy and sorrow. He approached her and said, "The blossoms are beautiful, are they not?" Sakura nodded, her eyes filling with tears. "But they will be gone so soon," she said. The Zen master smiled. "It is because they are gone so soon that they are so beautiful," he said. "Their beauty is not in their permanence. It is in their fleetingness. It is in the way they appear, shine with all their glory, and then let go, without a struggle, without a regret." He then picked up a single petal that had fallen to the ground. "Look at this petal, Sakura," he said. "It is not sad. It is not clinging to the branch. It has given its beauty to the world, and now it is returning to the earth to become a part of the soil that will nourish the tree for next year's blossoms. It is a part of a cycle, a dance of life and death, of appearing and disappearing. And in this dance, there is no sadness. There is only beauty." Sakura looked at the petal in the master's hand, and then at the blossoms on the trees, and then at the petals that were beginning to fall like a gentle snow. She had been so focused on holding on to the blossoms that she had missed the beauty of their letting go. She had been so afraid of the ending that she had missed the beauty of the cycle. From that day on, Sakura's experience of the cherry blossoms changed. She still felt a touch of sadness when they fell, but it was a gentle sadness, a sweet sadness, a sadness that was mixed with a sense of gratitude. She had learned to love the blossoms, not in spite of their impermanence, but because of it. She had learned to dance with the cycle of life, to embrace the beauty of change. Tonight, as you lie in your bed, you can be like Sakura in her moment of awakening. You can let go of your resistance to change. You can embrace the impermanence of your own life. You can see the beauty in the fleetingness of each moment. Your thoughts are impermanent. They come and they go. You don't need to hold on to them. Your feelings are impermanent. They arise and they pass away. You don't need to be afraid of them. Your body is impermanent. It is always changing, always renewing itself. You don't need to cling to it. You are a part of a grand and beautiful dance of change. You are a wave in the ocean of being, a blossom on the tree of life. You are not meant to be permanent. You are meant to be alive, and to be alive is to be in a constant state of change. Rest now in the gentle embrace of impermanence. Let go of your fear of change. Let go of your need for permanence. Let go of your struggle against the flow of life. And in that letting go, you will find a peace that is unshakable, a joy that is boundless, a love that is eternal. Sleep now. Sleep in the beautiful, ever-changing dance of life. As we bring our journey to a close, let us rest in the quiet wisdom that has unfolded. We have learned from the potter the grace of yielding, from the monk the vastness of our own mind, from the weaver the sweetness of the present moment, from the scholar the freedom of not knowing, from the fisherman the peace of surrender, from the musician the beauty of imperfection, and from the lover of cherry blossoms the joy of letting go. These stories are not just tales to lull you to sleep. They are mirrors, reflecting the deepest truths of your own being. They are pointers, guiding you back to the peace that is your birthright. They are whispers, reminding you of the love that you are. The world may be a noisy place. Your mind may be a busy place, but there is a place within you that is always silent, always still, always at peace. It is the source of your being. It is the heart of your awareness. It is the home of your soul. Tonight, and every night, you can return to this place. You can rest in this silence. You can be nourished by this peace. You don't need to go anywhere. You don't need to do anything. You just need to be. As you drift into the gentle embrace of sleep, let go of all your burdens. Let go of all your worries. Let go of all your stories. Let go of all your striving. Let go of everything. And in that letting go, you will find everything. May your sleep be deep and dreamless. May your rest be complete and restorative. May you awaken in the morning with a heart full of peace, a mind full of clarity, and a spirit full of love. Thank you for sharing this sacred time with me. Before you drift away completely, I invite you to share in the comments the time and your location. It's a simple act, but it's a beautiful way to feel our connection, to know that we are all part of a global community of peace seekers, all resting under the same sky, all dreaming under the same moon. Good night, sleep well, and may you always walk in beauty. In a valley known for its fertile soil and gentle rains, there lived a gardener named Haru. Haru's garden was not like the others in the valley. The other gardens were neat and orderly, with straight rows of vegetables and carefully pruned fruit trees. Haru's garden was a wild and beautiful chaos. Flowers grew where they pleased, vegetables mingled with herbs, and vines climbed wherever they found a hold. It was a garden that seemed to have a mind of its own. Some of the other villagers would whisper that Haru was a lazy gardener. They would see him sitting on a bench in the middle of his garden for hours, seemingly doing nothing. They did not understand that Haru was not doing nothing. He was listening. He was observing. He was in communion with his garden. Haru had learned that a garden is not a thing to be controlled. It is a community of living beings, each with its own needs, its own wisdom, its own purpose. He did not see the weeds as enemies to be eradicated. He saw them as messengers, telling him about the condition of the soil. He did not see the insects as pests to be destroyed. He saw them as part of the intricate web of life that made his garden so vibrant. He did not impose his will on the garden. He co-created with it. He would watch to see where the sun fell most warmly, and there he would plant his tomatoes. He would observe where the water collected after a rain, and there he would plant his watercress. He would listen to the whispers of the wind, and he would plant his corn in a place where it would be protected from the strongest gusts. His garden was not as productive as some of the other gardens in the valley. In the conventional sense, he did not have perfect, uniform rows of cabbages, but his garden was more resilient. It was more diverse. It was more alive. It was a place of beauty, of peace, of constant discovery. One year, a blight swept through the valley. The neat, orderly gardens, with their monocultures of a single type of vegetable, were devastated. The blight spread quickly from one plant to another, and soon, entire fields were wiped out. The villagers were in despair. But Haru's garden was largely untouched. The diversity of his garden had created a natural resilience. The blight might affect one type of plant, but it could not spread to the others. The herbs that he had planted among his vegetables repelled some of the insects that carried the blight. The healthy, living soil of his garden gave his plants the strength to resist the disease. The villagers came to Haru, their heads bowed in humility. "We do not understand, Haru," they said. "We worked so hard. We were so careful, yet our gardens are gone. You seem to do so little, yet your garden is thriving." Haru smiled, a gentle, knowing smile. "You are not gardening," he said. "You were waging a war. You were fighting against nature. I was not gardening either. I was having a conversation. I was listening to nature, and I was responding with love." Tonight, as you lie in your bed, you can be like Haru. You can let go of the need to control your life. You can let go of the idea that you are separate from nature, that you are at war with the world. You can begin to have a conversation with your life. You can begin to listen to the whispers of your heart, the wisdom of your body, the guidance of your soul. You are not a machine that needs to be fixed. You are a garden that needs to be tended. You are not a problem that needs to be solved. You are a mystery that needs to be lived. You are not a soldier in a battle. You are a dancer in a grand and beautiful dance. Rest now in the wild and beautiful garden of your own being. Let go of the need for straight rows and perfect order. Embrace the chaos, the diversity, the aliveness of who you are. And in that embrace, you will find a resilience, a beauty, a peace that passes all understanding. Sleep now. Sleep in the loving arms of Mother Nature. In a quiet corner of a bustling city, there was a small shop that sold paper, ink, and brushes. The shop was owned by an old woman named Chiyo, who was a master calligrapher. Her work was not sold in the shop, but it was displayed on the walls, and people would come from all over just to look at it. Her calligraphy was not just beautiful, it was alive. Each character seemed to breathe with a life of its own. Each stroke was a dance of energy and grace. A young man named Kenji came to Chiyo's shop one day. He was an aspiring calligrapher, and he was full of ambition. He wanted to be famous. He wanted to be a master. He had been practicing for years, and he had mastered all the techniques. His strokes were precise, his characters were well formed, but his work was lifeless. It was technically perfect, but it had no soul. He showed his work to Chiyo, expecting her to be impressed. She looked at it for a long time, her face unreadable. Then she said, You have a good hand, but you do not have a good heart. Kenji was taken aback. What do you mean? He asked. I have practiced for years. I have mastered all the forms. You have mastered the forms, Chio said, but you have not mastered yourself. Your brush is full of your ambition, your desire, your ego. It is not free. And because your brush is not free, your characters are not free. They are prisoners of your own mind. She then took a piece of paper, a brush, and some ink. She sat down, closed her eyes for a moment, and took a deep breath. Then, with a single, fluid movement, she painted a character on the paper. It was the character for wind. Kenji looked at the character, and he was mesmerized. It was not just a character, it was the wind itself. He could feel the movement, the energy, the freedom of it. It was as if the wind had come into the room and danced on the paper. How did you do that? He asked, his voice full of awe. I did not do it, Chio said. The wind did it. I just got out of the way. She then told Kenji that if he wanted to be a true master, he had to forget everything he had learned. He had to forget about fame, about ambition, about perfection. He had to forget about himself. He had to become an empty vessel, a hollow bamboo, through which the spirit of the universe could flow. Kenji was confused, but he was also intrigued. He decided to become Chio's student. For the first year, she did not allow him to touch a brush. Instead, she had him sweep the floor, wash the dishes, and tend to the small garden behind the shop. She taught him to do everything with a quiet mind, with a full heart, with a sense of reverence for the present moment. At first, Kenji was impatient. He wanted to be practicing his calligraphy, but slowly, he began to understand. He began to see that calligraphy was not just about painting characters on a page. It was about how you lived your life. It was about whether you were present, whether you were mindful, whether you were free. After a year, Chio finally gave him a brush, some ink, and a piece of paper. I want you to paint the character for water, she said. Kenji sat down, closed his eyes, and took a deep breath. He did not think about how to paint the character. He did not think about whether it would be good or bad. He simply became quiet, and he listened. He listened to the memory of the rain, the sound of the river, the feeling of the ocean. He listened to the spirit of water within his own body. And then, he painted. His brush moved with a fluidity, a grace, a freedom that he had never known before. And when he was finished, he looked at the character on the page. It was not just a character, it was water itself. It was flowing, it was yielding, it was powerful, it was alive. He had finally understood. He had finally gotten out of the way. He had finally become a hollow bamboo. Tonight, as you lie in your bed, you can be like Kenji in his moment of awakening. You can let go of your ambition, your desire, your ego. You can let go of the need to be someone, to achieve something, to prove yourself. You can simply be. You can be an empty vessel, a hollow bamboo, through which the spirit of life can flow. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be a master. You just need to be you, your authentic, imperfect, beautiful self. And when you are simply yourself, you are a work of art. You are a character painted by the hand of the universe. You are a poem written by the heart of God. Rest now in the quiet emptiness of your own being. Let go of all your stories, all your labels, all your ideas of who you are. And in that emptiness, you will find a fullness that is beyond measure. You will find a peace that is beyond understanding. You will find a love that is beyond words. Sleep now. Sleep in the freedom of your own true nature. In a small house at the top of a hill, overlooking a city, there lived a tea master named Sora. Sora was not famous. He did not serve tea to emperors or nobles. He served tea to ordinary people in his small, simple tea room. But those who had tea with Sora said that it was an experience they would never forget. They said that his tea was not just a beverage, it was a form of meditation. It was a taste of peace. A young woman named Yumi came to visit Sora one day. Yumi was a student of the tea ceremony, and she was very serious about it. She had memorized all the rules. She had perfected all the movements. She had acquired all the finest utensils. She was determined to become a great tea master, and she had come to Sora to learn his secrets. She entered his tea room and was surprised by its simplicity. There were no expensive paintings on the walls, no rare flowers in the vase, no antique tea bowls on the shelf. There was just a simple kettle, a few plain cups, and a window that looked out onto the sky. Sora greeted her with a warm smile and invited her to sit. He moved with a quiet grace, a simple elegance that was more beautiful than any formal technique. He prepared the tea with a focused attention, a gentle reverence, as if he were handling the most precious substance in the world. He served the tea to Yumi in a plain, unassuming cup. Yumi took the cup, and she performed all the prescribed gestures with a flawless precision. She admired the color of the tea. She inhaled its fragrance. She took a small, respectful sip. The tea was delicious, but she was too busy following the rules to really taste it. When the ceremony was over, Yumi bowed to Sora and said, "Thank you for the tea, Master. You are truly a great artist. I have tried to learn all the rules of the tea ceremony, but my tea is not like yours. What is your secret?" Sora smiled. "The secret of tea is not in the rules, Yumi," he said. "It is in the water, the leaves, the fire, the cup. It is in the sky, the earth, the person who is drinking it. It is in this moment, right here, right now." He then pointed to the window. "Look at the sky, Yumi," he said. "It is always changing. Sometimes it is blue, sometimes it is grey, sometimes it is full of clouds, sometimes it is clear. It does not follow any rules. It is simply itself, and that is why it is so beautiful." He then pointed to the kettle. "Listen to the water, Yumi," he said. "It is singing. It is telling you that it is ready. It is not following a script. It is simply expressing its own nature, and that is why its song is so sweet, in Britos." He then pointed to the cup in her hand. "Feel the warmth of the cup, Yumi," he said. "It is the warmth of the fire, the warmth of the earth, the warmth of my hands. It is the warmth of life itself. It is not a concept, it is a feeling, and that is why it is so comforting." Yumi sat in silence for a long time, holding the warm cup in her hands. She looked at the sky. She listened to the water. She felt the warmth. She had been so focused on the rules that she had missed the reality. She had been so busy performing the ceremony that she had missed the sacredness of it. She took another sip of the tea, and this time, she really tasted it. She tasted the sweetness of the leaves, the purity of the water, the smokiness of the fire. She tasted the peace of the moment, and in that taste, she found the secret of tea. Tonight, as you lie in your bed, you can be like Yumi in her moment of awakening. You can let go of all the rules, all the expectations, all the ideas of how things should be. You can simply be with what is. You can be with the sensations in your body, the sounds in the room, the thoughts in your mind. You can be with the simple, sacred reality of this present moment. You don't need to be a master. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present. You just need to be here. And in this presence, you will find a peace that is more delicious than any tea, a joy that is more beautiful than any ceremony, a love that is more comforting than any warmth. Rest now, in the simple sacredness of this moment. Let go of all your doing and simply be. Let go of all your knowing and simply experience. Let go of all your striving and simply receive. Sleep now. Sleep in the gentle, loving embrace of the present moment. In the mountains of ancient Japan, there was a dojo where the art of the sword was taught. The master of the dojo was a man named Takeda, who was said to be the greatest swordsman in the land. His movements were like lightning, his precision was flawless, and his spirit was unbreakable. Many young men came to study with him, hoping to learn his secrets and become great warriors themselves. One of these young men was named Hiroki. Hiroki was strong, agile, and fiercely determined. He practiced day and night, pushing his body to its limits. He memorized all the forms, he mastered all the techniques, and he could defeat any of his fellow students in a duel, but he could not defeat Takeda. Every time they sparred, Takeda would defeat him with an ease that was both infuriating and mystifying. It was as if Takeda knew what Hiroki was going to do before he did it. It was as if he could see into Hiroki's mind. Hiroki became obsessed with defeating his master. He saw Takeda not as a teacher, but as a rival, an obstacle to be overcome. One day, after another humiliating defeat, Hiroki went to Takeda and said, "Master, I have learned all that you have taught me. I have practiced until my hands bleed. I am stronger and faster than you. Yet, I cannot defeat you. Why?" Takeda looked at Hiroki, his eyes full of a calm, steady light. "You have learned the art of the sword, Hiroki," he said. "But you have not learned the art of the swordsman. You see the sword as a tool for fighting, for winning, for proving your strength. I see the sword as a tool for polishing the soul, for cutting away the ego, for revealing the true self." He then took Hiroki to a waterfall that cascaded down a cliff behind the dojo. The water roared and crashed against the rocks, sending up a cloud of mist. "I want you to stand under this waterfall," Takeda said, "and I want you to cut the water in half." Hiroki thought it was a strange request, but he did as he was told. He stood under the waterfall, his wooden sword in his hand, and he tried to cut the water. He swung his sword with all his might, but the water simply flowed around it. He tried to be faster, but the water was faster still. He tried to be stronger, but the water was stronger still. He tried for hours, until he was exhausted, cold, and utterly defeated. He went back to Takeda, his head bowed in shame. "I cannot do it, master," he said. "The water is too powerful. It cannot be cut." Takeda smiled. "You are right, Hiroki," he said. "The water cannot be cut. It is soft, it is yielding, yet it is the most powerful thing in the world. It does not fight, it simply flows, and in its flowing, it overcomes all obstacles." "You are like the sword, Hiroki," Takeda continued. "You are hard, you are rigid, you are strong, but your strength is also your weakness. You try to force your way through life, to conquer your opponents, to impose your will on the world. But the world is like the water. It cannot be conquered. It can only be understood. It can only be flowed with." "If you want to be a true master, Hiroki," Takeda said, "you must become like the water. You must learn to be soft, to be yielding, to be adaptable. You must learn to let go of your desire to win, your fear of losing, your attachment to your own strength. You must learn to empty your mind, to quiet your ego, to become one with the flow of life. And when you are one with the flow of life, you will be invincible, not because you can defeat everyone, but because you have no one to defeat. You are everyone. Hiroki stood in silence, the roar of the waterfall echoing in his ears. He had been so focused on the sword that he had forgotten the swordsman. He had been so focused on winning that he had forgotten how to live. He had been so focused on being strong that he had forgotten the power of being soft. From that day on, Hiroki's training changed. He still practiced with the sword, but he also practiced with the water. He would stand in the river, feeling its current, learning its ways. He would sit by the waterfall, listening to its song, feeling its power. He would practice being soft, being yielding, being adaptable. And slowly, his swordsmanship was transformed. It was no longer about fighting, it was about dancing. It was no longer about winning, it was about being. It was no longer about strength, it was about flow. He had become like the water. He had become a true master. Tonight, as you lie in your bed, you can be like Hiroki in his moment of awakening. You can let go of your struggle, your resistance, your fight against the flow of life. You can learn to be like the water. You can learn to be soft, to be yielding, to be adaptable. You don't need to be strong all the time. You don't need to be in control all the time. You don't need to win all the time. You just need to be. You just need to flow. And in that flowing, you will find a strength that is greater than any muscle, a power that is greater than any sword, a peace that is greater than any victory. Rest now in the gentle, powerful flow of your own being. Let go of all your hardness, all your rigidity, all your resistance. And in that letting go, you will find a softness, a yielding, a freedom that is your true nature. Sleep now. Sleep in the invincible power of your own softness. In a village famous for its beautiful landscapes, there lived a painter named Isamu. Isamu was a master of his craft. He could capture the beauty of the mountains, the rivers, and the forests with a breathtaking realism. His paintings were like windows that looked out onto the world, and people would marvel at his skill. But Isamu was not satisfied. He felt that something was missing from his work. He could paint the outer form of the landscape, but he could not paint its inner spirit. He could paint the leaves of a tree, but he could not paint the life that flowed through them. He could paint the reflection of the moon on the water, but he could not paint the silence of the night. He decided to seek the guidance of a Zen master who lived in a hermitage deep in the mountains. The master was a man named Kaito, who was also a painter, but his paintings were very different from Isamu's. They were simple, almost abstract, a few strokes of a brush, a splash of ink, and yet they seemed to contain the entire universe. Isamu showed his paintings to Kaito, and Kaito looked at them for a long time. "You are a skilled painter," he said. "You have a good eye and a steady hand, but you are painting what you see. You are not painting what you are." Isamu did not understand. "But I am a painter," he said. "It is my job to paint what I see." "No," Kaito said. "It is your job to paint what you are. You are not separate from the landscape. You are a part of it. The mountains are in you. The rivers are in you. The forests are in you. If you want to paint the spirit of the landscape, you must first find the spirit within yourself." He then gave Isamu a challenge. "I want you to go and live in the mountains for a year," he said. But you are not to take your brushes, your ink, or your paper. You are just to live. You are to be with the mountains, the rivers, the forests. You are to become them. Isamu was hesitant, but he was also desperate. He agreed to the challenge. He built a small hut in the mountains, and he lived there for a year. He foraged for his food. He drank from the streams. He slept under the stars. He had no distractions, no ambitions, no art. He had only himself and the mountains. At first, it was difficult. He was lonely. He was bored. He was restless. He missed his painting, his fame, his comfortable life. But slowly, as the seasons changed, he began to change as well. He began to see the world in a new way. He began to feel the life that flowed through everything. He felt the strength of the mountains in his own bones. He felt the flow of the river in his own blood. He felt the stillness of the forest in his own mind. He was no longer Isamu, the painter. He was the mountains, the river, the forest. He was the landscape. After a year, he returned to Kaito's hermitage. He did not say a word. He simply took a brush, some ink, and a piece of paper, and he painted. He painted a single stalk of bamboo. It was just a few strokes of the brush, but it was the most beautiful bamboo he had ever painted. It was not just a painting of a bamboo. It was the bamboo itself. It was strong. It was flexible. It was alive. Kaito looked at the painting and smiled. "Now you are a painter," he said. "Now you are painting what you are." Tonight, as you lie in your bed, you can be like Isamu in his moment of awakening. You can let go of the idea that you are separate from the world. You can feel the life that flows through you and through everything around you. You are not just a body in a bed. You are the universe, experiencing itself. You are the stillness of the night. You are the silence of the room. You are the warmth of the blankets. You are the gentle rhythm of your own breath. You are a part of everything, and everything is a part of you. Rest now in this deep and intimate connection with all that is. Let go of your sense of separation, of loneliness, of alienation, and in that letting go, you will find a sense of belonging, of wholeness, of love that is your true home. Sleep now. Sleep in the loving embrace of the universe. In a monastery known for its strict discipline and silent meditation, there was a cook named Kenji. Kenji was not a monk. He was a simple man who had been hired to cook for the monks. He was a cheerful, round man who always had a smile on his face and a song in his heart. The monks, who were very serious and solemn, did not know what to make of him. They would sit in the meditation hall for hours, trying to quiet their minds and find enlightenment. Kenji would be in the kitchen, chopping vegetables, stirring pots, and tasting sauces. He seemed to be in a state of constant motion, of constant activity, yet there was a peace about him, a joy about him, that the monks, for all their striving, could not seem to find. One day, a young monk named Haru, who was struggling with his meditation practice, went to the kitchen to get some water. He saw Kenji standing over a pot of soup, his eyes closed, a look of blissful concentration on his face. He was not just cooking, he was communing. "Kenji," Haru said, "how can you be so happy all the time? You are always working, always busy. We are always meditating, always trying to be quiet. Yet, you seem to be more at peace than any of us." Kenji opened his eyes and smiled. "My work is my meditation, Haru," he said. "When I chop the vegetables, I am just chopping the vegetables. I am not thinking about the past or the future. I am not thinking about myself. I am just here, with the knife, the board, and the carrot. And in that just being here, there is a great peace. It's no wells. When I stir the soup, he continued, I am just stirring the soup. I am feeling the warmth of the fire. I am smelling the fragrance of the spices. I am listening to the bubbling of the pot. I am one with the soup. And in that oneness, there is a great joy. You monks think that enlightenment is somewhere else, in some other state of mind, in some other time, Kenji said. But enlightenment is right here, right now, in this kitchen, in this moment. It is in the chopping of the vegetables, the stirring of the soup, the washing of the dishes. It is in the simple, ordinary, everyday tasks of life, when they are done with a full heart, a quiet mind, and a loving attention. Haru was speechless. He had been searching for enlightenment in all the wrong places. He had been looking for it in the silence of the meditation hall, in the words of the ancient scriptures, in the guidance of his master. He had not realized that it was right here, in the kitchen, in the simple act of being present with his life. From that day on, Haru's practice changed. He still meditated in the hall, but he also meditated in the kitchen. He would help Kenji with the cooking, and he would learn to chop the vegetables, stir the soup, and wash the dishes with the same mindful attention that Kenji did. And in doing so, he found the peace, the joy, the enlightenment that he had been searching for. Tonight, as you lie in your bed, you can be like Haru in his moment of awakening. You can let go of the idea that peace is somewhere else, that it is something you have to achieve, that it is something you have to work for. You can realize that peace is right here, right now, in this very moment, in this very breath. You don't need to be in a monastery. You don't need to be a monk. You don't need to be a meditator. You just need to be present with your life. You just need to be here, with whatever you are doing, with whatever you are feeling, with whatever you are experiencing. And in that simple, loving presence, you will find all the peace, all the joy, all the enlightenment you could ever wish for. Rest now in the simple, ordinary, sacred presence of this moment. Let go of all your searching, all your striving, all your seeking, and in that letting go, you will find that you have already arrived. You are already home. You are already at peace. Sleep now. Sleep in the enlightened heart of this present moment. On a wide, slow-moving river, there worked a boatman named Rio. Rio was a man of the water. He had been born on the river. He had lived his whole life on the river, and he knew the river as well as he knew his own hands. He ferried people and goods from one side of the river to the other in his small, sturdy boat. His passengers were often in a hurry. They were merchants on their way to a market, officials on their way to a meeting, messengers on their way to deliver a message. They would urge him to go faster, to row harder, to get them to the other side as quickly as possible. They would tap their feet impatiently. They would look at the sun anxiously. They would sigh with frustration. Rio would simply smile and continue to row with his steady, unhurried rhythm. He did not fight the current. He did not strain against the water. He moved with the river, not against it. He knew that the river had its own pace, its own wisdom, its own way, and he respected it. One day, a young nobleman came to the river. He was a man of great importance, and he was in a great hurry. He had to get to the other side of the river for a meeting with the governor, and he was already late. He saw Rio sitting in his boat, mending a net, and he shouted at him, "Boatman, take me across the river, and be quick about it. I am a very important person, and I have a very important meeting to attend." Ryo looked up from his net and smiled. "I will take you across the river, sir," he said, "but the river will decide how quickly we go." The nobleman was furious. "What do you mean? The river will decide?" he bellowed. "You are the boatman. You are the one who rows. It is your job to get me across the river as fast as possible." "It is my job to get you across the river safely, sir," Ryo said calmly. "And to do that, I must listen to the river. I must respect its currents, its eddies, its moods. If I try to go against the river, I will only waste my strength, and I may even put us in danger. If I go with the river, we will get there in the river's own good time." The nobleman was about to argue, but there were no other boats available. He got into Ryo's boat, fuming with impatience. Ryo began to row, with his slow, steady, rhythmic strokes. The nobleman sat in the boat, tapping his foot, sighing with frustration, and muttering under his breath. But as the boat moved across the water, something strange began to happen. The nobleman's impatience began to subside. The rhythm of Ryo's rowing, the gentle lapping of the water against the boat, the vast, quiet presence of the river, all began to have a calming effect on him. He stopped tapping his foot. He stopped sighing. He stopped muttering. He began to notice things he had never noticed before. He noticed the way the light danced on the water. He noticed the way the reeds on the bank swayed in the breeze. He noticed the way the clouds drifted across the sky. He noticed the beauty, the peace, the serenity of the river. By the time they reached the other side, the nobleman was a different man. He was no longer in a hurry. He was no longer angry. He was no longer important. He was just a man, in a boat, on a river. He had forgotten all about his meeting with the governor. He got out of the boat and bowed to Ryo. "Thank you, boatman," he said. "You have taught me a valuable lesson. I was so busy trying to get to the other side of the river that I forgot to enjoy the journey. I was so busy trying to control my life that I forgot to live it. Tonight, as you lie in your bed, you can be like the nobleman in his moment of awakening. You can let go of your hurry, your impatience, your need to be in control. You can learn to go with the flow of your life, to trust its wisdom, to respect its pace. You don't need to get to the other side of the river. You are already on the river, and the river is beautiful. The journey is the destination. The process is the purpose. The means are the end. Rest now in the gentle, steady, rhythmic flow of your own life. Let go of your struggle, your resistance, your fight. And in that letting go, you will find a peace that is as deep as the river, a joy that is as bright as the sun on the water, a love that is as vast as the sky. Sleep now. Sleep in the wise and loving arms of the river of life. In a village nestled in a forest of ancient trees, there lived a woodcarver named Yoshi. Yoshi was known throughout the land for his skill. He could carve a block of wood into a bird that looked so real it seemed it might take flight, or a flower that looked so delicate it seemed you could smell its fragrance. His carvings were treasured by all who saw them. But Yoshi had a secret. He did not see himself as the creator of these beautiful objects. He saw himself as a listener, a discoverer, a midwife. He believed that the bird, the flower, the dragon was already inside the wood, and that his job was simply to remove the excess wood and set it free. Before he would begin a carving, he would spend a long time with the block of wood. He would sit with it, he would hold it, he would feel its weight, its texture, its grain. He would listen to it, he would ask it what it wanted to become. Sometimes, The wood would speak to him immediately. He would see the form of a hawk in the grain, or the curve of a serpent in a knot. Other times, the wood would be silent, and he would have to wait, sometimes for days, sometimes for weeks, until the wood was ready to reveal its secret. His fellow villagers did not understand his methods. They would see him sitting in his workshop, seemingly doing nothing, and they would think he was lazy. "Why don't you just start carving, Yoshi?" they would ask. "You have such a great skill. Why do you waste so much time?" Yoshi would just smile. "I am not wasting time," he would say. "I am listening, and listening is the most important part of carving." One day, a wealthy merchant came to Yoshi's village. He had heard of Yoshi's skill, and he wanted to commission a carving of a fierce and powerful dragon for his new mansion. He brought with him a large and expensive block of ebony wood, and he offered Yoshi a great sum of money. Yoshi looked at the block of wood. It was a beautiful piece of wood, dark and dense and smooth. But as he sat with it, as he listened to it, he did not hear the roar of a dragon. He heard the gentle song of a nightingale. He went to the merchant and said, "Sir, I cannot carve a dragon from this wood. This wood wants to be a nightingale." The merchant was outraged. "A nightingale?" he scoffed. "I am paying you a fortune, and you want to give me a little bird? I want a dragon, a symbol of my power, my wealth, my status. If you will not carve me a dragon, I will find someone who will." "You may do that, sir," Yoshi said calmly, "but you will not have a true carving. You will have a piece of wood that has been forced to become something it is not. It will have no life, no spirit, no soul. It will be a dead thing." The merchant hesitated. He was a man who appreciated beauty, and he had seen the life in Yoshi's other carvings. He did not want a dead thing. He reluctantly agreed to let Yoshi carve the nightingale. Yoshi went to work, and as he carved, he felt a joy, a connection, a flow that he had never felt before. He was not forcing the wood. He was dancing with it. He was not imposing his will. He was surrendering to the will of the wood. When the carving was finished, it was a masterpiece. The nightingale was so real, so alive, so full of song, that all who saw it were moved to tears. The merchant was so enchanted by it that he forgot all about his dragon. He had received something far more precious. He had received a piece of the soul of the wood. Tonight, as you lie in your bed, you can be like Yoshi. You can let go of the need to force your life to be something it is not. You can learn to listen to the wisdom of your own being, to the song of your own soul. You can ask yourself, not what you want to be, but what you are meant to be. You are a unique and precious piece of the universe. There is a form, a purpose, a beauty that is already within you, waiting to be discovered, waiting to be set free. You don't need to become someone else. You just need to become more fully yourself. Rest now in the quiet and loving presence of your own being. Listen to the whispers of your heart, and in that listening, you will discover the masterpiece that you already are. Sleep now. Sleep in the beautiful, authentic, and soulful truth of who you are. In a province known for its skilled archers, there was a young woman named Kimi. Kimi was a prodigy. She had a natural talent for archery, and she could shoot an arrow with a speed and accuracy that surpassed even her most experienced teachers. She was destined for greatness, and she knew it. She was proud, ambitious, and fiercely competitive. Every year, there was a grand archery competition in the capital city. The best archers from all over the land would come to compete for the title of champion. Kimmy had been training for this competition her whole life. She saw it as her chance to prove that she was the best, to gain fame and recognition, to fulfill her destiny. She practiced relentlessly, from dawn until dusk. She focused on her technique, her stance, her breathing. She strengthened her arms, sharpened her eye, and disciplined her mind. She was a machine of perfection, a weapon of precision. She was ready. On the day of the competition, she was flawless. She hit the center of the target with every shot, her arrows splitting the ones that had come before. The crowd gasped in amazement. Her competitors looked on in despair. She was untouchable. Finally, it came down to the last shot. She was tied with the reigning champion, an old man named Haruki, who was known not for his strength or his speed, but for his calm and effortless grace. The target was a small red apple placed on the head of a young boy. Kimmy stepped up to the line, her heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and anxiety. This was her moment. This was her chance to claim the title, to seize her glory. She raised her bow. She drew her arrow. She took her aim. But as she looked at the apple, she saw not a target, but the face of the boy. She saw his fear, his trust, his vulnerability. Her hand trembled. Her breath caught in her throat. Her mind was flooded with doubt. What if she missed? What if she hurt the boy? What if she failed? The weight of her ambition, the pressure of the moment, the fear of failure, all came crashing down on her. She let the arrow fly, but it was not a clean shot. It wavered in the air and missed the apple by a hair's breadth, embedding itself in the post behind the boy. The crowd let out a collective gasp. Kimmy stood in stunned silence, her face pale with shock and shame. She had failed. She had lost. Then, Haruki stepped up to the line. He did not seem to be in a competition. He did not seem to be aware of the crowd, or the prize, or the pressure. He simply stood there, a gentle smile on his face, his eyes full of a quiet, loving light. He raised his bow, he drew his arrow, and he let it fly, all in one smooth, effortless motion. The arrow flew straight and true, and it split the apple in half, without even touching a hair on the boy's head. The crowd erupted in cheers. Haruki was still the champion, but he did not seem to care. He went to Kimmy, who was standing there, her head bowed in defeat, and he placed a hand on her shoulder. "You are a great archer, Kimmy," he said, "but you are not yet a true archer. A true archer does not shoot with their arms, or their eyes, or their mind," he said. "They shoot with their heart. They do not aim at the target. They aim at the oneness with the target. They do not try to win. They simply try to be. And in that being, there is no success, no failure, no winning, no losing. There is only the arrow, the bow, the target, and the archer, all in one perfect, seamless, and beautiful dance." Tonight, as you lie in your bed, you can be like Kimmy in her moment of awakening. You can let go of your ambition, your competition, your need to be the best. You can learn to shoot with your heart. You can learn to aim at oneness. You can learn to dance with your life. You don't need to prove yourself. You don't need to win. You just need to be you, your authentic, imperfect, beautiful self. And when you are simply yourself, you are already a champion. You are already a winner. You are already a master. Rest now, in the quiet and loving center of your own being. Let go of all your striving, all your competing, all your judging, and in that letting go, You will find a victory that is greater than any prize, a glory that is greater than any fame, a peace that is greater than any success. Sleep now. Sleep in the champion heart of your own true nature. In a land divided by a great canyon, there lived a bridge builder named Daichi. Daichi was a man of vision, of courage, of unwavering determination. He had a dream that seemed impossible to everyone but him. He wanted to build a bridge across the canyon, a bridge that would connect the two sides of the land, a bridge that would bring people together. The canyon was a fearsome place. It was a deep, dark chasm with a raging river at the bottom and sheer, unclimbable cliffs on either side. For centuries, it had been a barrier, a symbol of separation, a source of fear. People said that it was a place where the gods had drawn a line that was not meant to be crossed. But Daichi did not believe in lines. He believed in connections. He believed in unity. He believed in the power of the human spirit to overcome any obstacle. He spent years studying the canyon, learning its secrets, understanding its challenges. He drew up plans. He gathered materials. He assembled a team of workers. He was ready to build his bridge. The work was hard, dangerous, and slow. The workers had to be lowered into the canyon on ropes. They had to battle the fierce winds that howled through the chasm. They had to contend with the raging river that threatened to sweep them away. Many of them lost heart. Many of them gave up. Many of them said that the task was impossible. But Daichi never wavered. He was the first to arrive at the site every morning and the last to leave every night. He worked alongside his men, sharing their hardships, inspiring them with his courage, and reminding them of their dream. He was not just building a bridge of wood and stone. He was building a bridge of hope, of trust, of community. There were times when he was filled with doubt. There were times when he was on the verge of despair. There were times when he felt like giving up. But then, he would look across the canyon, and he would see the people on the other side, and he would remember why he had started this journey. He would remember his dream of a connected world, a united people, a shared future. And so, he would pick up his tools, and he would go back to work. He would lay another stone. He would drive another nail. He would tie another rope. He would build his bridge, one small, patient, and loving act at a time. After many years of hard work, the bridge was finally finished. It was a magnificent structure, a testament to the power of the human spirit, a work of art that seemed to defy gravity itself. It spanned the Great Canyon, connecting the two sides of the land and bringing the people together. On the day the bridge was opened, there was a great celebration. People from both sides of the canyon came to marvel at the bridge, to walk across it, to meet each other, to share their stories, their food, their lives. They were no longer two separate peoples. They were one. Daichi stood in the middle of the bridge, his heart full of a quiet joy. He had not just built a bridge, he had created a community. He had not just conquered a canyon, he had overcome a division. He had not just fulfilled a dream, he had changed the world. Tonight, as you lie in your bed, you can be like Daichi. You can be a bridge builder. You can connect the divided parts of your own being. You can connect your mind and your heart, your body and your soul, your light and your shadow. You can become whole. You can also be a bridge builder in the world. You can connect with the people around you, especially those who are different from you, those who you are afraid of, those who you have judged. You can listen to their stories. You can share their pain. You can celebrate their joy. You can build a bridge of understanding. of compassion, of love. It is not an easy task. It requires courage, patience, and determination, but it is the most important work you can do. It is the work of healing, of reconciliation, of peace. It is the work of love. Rest now in the quiet and loving strength of your own heart, and know that you have the power to build bridges, to connect worlds, to change the world, one small, patient, and loving act at a time. Sleep now. Sleep in the peaceful and connected heart of the universe. In a village perched on a windy hill, there lived a kite maker named Emmy. Emmy's kites were not like the others. The other kites were made for fighting, for diving and swooping and cutting the strings of other kites. Emmy's kites were made for dancing. They were made of the lightest paper and the most flexible bamboo. They were painted with the colors of the sky, the clouds, and the sun. They were designed not to conquer the wind, but to surrender to it. Emmy would take her kites to the top of the hill, and she would release them into the wind. She would not try to control them. She would not try to make them go higher or faster. She would simply hold the string lightly in her hand, and she would let the kite and the wind dance together. She would feel the pull of the wind, the tug of the kite, and she would become a part of their dance. She would become the wind, the kite, the sky. Other kite makers would laugh at her. "Your kites are so fragile, Emmy," they would say. "They are no good for fighting. They are just pretty toys, and caught around falls." Emmy would just smile. "My kites are not for fighting," she would say. "They are for listening. They are for feeling. They are for dancing." One day, a great storm came to the village. The wind howled, the rain lashed down, and the sky turned dark and angry. The other kite makers rushed to bring in their kites, lest they be torn to shreds by the storm. But Emmy did something strange. She took her favorite kite, a beautiful kite, the color of the dawn, and she went to the top of the hill. She released the kite into the storm. The wind seized it, and it was tossed and thrown and battered. It seemed for a moment that it would be torn apart, but the kite was strong in its softness. It was flexible in its fragility. It yielded to the wind. It bent with the wind. It danced with the wind. It did not fight the storm. It became a part of the storm. Emmy stood on the hilltop, the string in her hand, her hair and clothes whipping in the wind. She was not afraid. She was exhilarated. She was one with the kite, one with the wind, one with the storm. She was dancing in the heart of the chaos. When the storm finally passed, the village was a mess. Trees were uprooted, roofs were torn off, and the fighting kites were all broken. But Emmy's kite was still flying, high in the clear blue sky, dancing in the gentle breeze. It was a symbol of the power of surrender, the strength of softness, the beauty of the dance. Tonight, as you lie in your bed, you can be like Emmy. You can let go of your fight against the storms of your life. You can learn to dance with the chaos, to surrender to the power, to find the beauty in the midst of the turmoil. You don't need to be strong in the way the world defines strength. You can be strong in your softness, powerful in your yielding, and beautiful in your dance. Rest now in the gentle and powerful embrace of your own being. Let go of your resistance, your fear, your fight, and in that letting go, you will find a strength that cannot be broken, a peace that cannot be disturbed, a joy that cannot be contained. Sleep now. Sleep in the wild and beautiful dance of your own life. In a city famous for its annual lantern festival, there lived a lantern maker named Akari. Akari's lanterns were the most beautiful in the city. They were not the most ornate or the most colorful, or the most elaborate. They were the most simple. They were made of a delicate white paper, stretched over a light bamboo frame. They had no pictures on them, no patterns, no decorations. They were just pure, simple, and elegant. But what made Akari's lanterns truly special was the light that they gave off. It was a soft, warm, gentle light, a light that seemed to come not from the candle within, but from the lantern itself. It was a light that soothed the soul, that calmed the mind, that opened the heart. People would come from all over to buy Akari's lanterns, not just to light their homes, but to light their lives. A young apprentice named Kenji came to study with Akari. Kenji was a talented craftsman, and he was eager to learn the secret of Akari's light. He watched Akari at work, and he tried to imitate her every move. He used the same paper, the same bamboo, the same candles. He made his lanterns with the same care, the same precision, the same skill. But his lanterns did not have the same light. They were just ordinary lanterns, with an ordinary light. He went to Akari, frustrated and confused. "I do not understand, Master," he said. "I have followed all your instructions. I have used all the same materials. I have made my lanterns exactly as you make yours. Why is my light not like your light?" Akari smiled, a gentle, knowing smile. "You have learned to make the lantern, Kenji," she said, "but you have not learned to be the lantern. You are so focused on the form of the lantern that you have forgotten its purpose. The purpose of a lantern is not to be beautiful, it is to hold the light, and the light does not come from the candle, it comes from the emptiness inside." She then took one of her lanterns and she lit the candle inside. The lantern filled with a soft, warm, gentle light. "Look at the lantern, Kenji," she said. "It is not the paper that is shining. It is not the bamboo that is shining. It is the emptiness that is shining. The lantern is just a vessel, a container, a space for the light to be. The more empty the lantern, the more brightly it shines." "You are like the lantern, Kenji," she continued. "You are so full of your own ideas, your own ambitions, your own desires, that there is no room for the light to shine through you. You are trying to be the light, instead of letting the light be. If you want to shine with the light of the universe, you must first become empty. You must let go of yourself, your ego, your story. You must become a hollow vessel, a sacred space, for the light to enter and to shine." And quote. Kenji stood in silence, the soft light of the lantern illuminating his face. He had been so focused on making the lantern that he had forgotten about the light. He had been so focused on being a lantern maker that he had forgotten how to be a lantern. He had been so focused on his own doing that he had forgotten the power of being. From that day on, Kenji's practice changed. He still made lanterns, but he also practiced being a lantern. He would sit in meditation, and he would empty his mind, his heart, his soul. He would let go of all his thoughts, all his feelings, all his stories. He would become an empty space, a silent vessel, a hollow bamboo. And slowly, his lanterns began to change. They began to shine with a new light, a light that was soft and warm and gentle, a light that came not from the candle, but from the emptiness inside. He had learned the secret of the light. He had learned to be the light. Tonight, as you lie in your bed, you can be like Kenji in his moment of awakening. You can let go of all that you are full of. You can let go of your worries, your fears, your regrets. You can let go of your stories, your beliefs, your identities. You can become an empty vessel, a sacred space, for the light of the universe to enter and to shine. You don't need to create the light. You are the light. You just need to get out of the way. You just need to let it shine. And when you let your own light shine, you unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. You become a lantern in the darkness, a beacon of hope, a source of love. Rest now in the quiet and empty center of your own being. Let go of all that you are and become all that you are. And in that becoming, you will find a light that is brighter than any sun, a peace that is deeper than any ocean, a love that is vaster than any sky. Sleep now. Sleep in the beautiful, radiant, and eternal light of your own true nature. In a temple known for its great hall of mirrors, there lived a mirror polisher named Rina. The Hall of Mirrors was a wondrous place. It was a room with 1,000 mirrors, each one perfectly polished, each one reflecting a different aspect of the world. People would come from all over to walk through the hall, to see themselves in 1,000 different ways, to get lost in the endless reflections. Rina's job was to keep the mirrors clean. It was a simple job, a humble job, a job that no one else wanted. But Rina did it with a devotion, a reverence, a love that was a form of meditation in itself. She would spend her days in the Hall of Mirrors, polishing each mirror until it shone with a flawless clarity. She did not see the mirrors as objects. She saw them as teachers. She knew that the mirrors did not create the reflections. They simply showed what was already there. They did not judge. They did not distort. They did not cling. They were pure, empty, and receptive. They were a perfect reflection of the Zen mind. One day, a wealthy and powerful samurai came to the temple. He was a man who was used to being admired, feared, and obeyed. He strode into the Hall of Mirrors, expecting to see 1,000 reflections of his own greatness. But as he looked into the mirrors, he saw not only his strength, but also his weakness. He saw not only his courage, but also his fear. He saw not only his glory, but also his shame. He was enraged. He drew his sword, and he smashed one of the mirrors into 1,000 pieces. "Your mirrors are liars," he shouted. "They show me things that are not true. They mock me. They insult me." Rina, who was polishing a mirror in a corner of the hall, came to him and said calmly, "The mirror is not a liar, sir. It is just a mirror. It shows you what is there. If you do not like the reflection, smashing the mirror will not help. You must change the object that is being reflected." The samurai was taken aback by her courage, her calmness, her wisdom. He looked at the broken mirror, and then he looked at himself in another mirror. He saw the anger in his eyes, the hatred in his heart, the violence in his hands. He saw the truth of her words. He dropped his sword, and he bowed to Rina. "You are right," he said. "I have been fighting my own reflection. I have been trying to smash the mirror of the world because I do not like what it shows me about myself. But the fault is not in the mirror. The fault is in me." From that day on, the samurai became a student of Zen. He learned to look at himself with an honest and compassionate eye. He learned to polish the mirror of his own mind, to clean it of the dust of his ego, the smudges of his anger, the cracks of his fear. He learned to see himself not as a great samurai, but as a simple human being, full of light and shadow, of strength and weakness, of beauty and brokenness. And in that seeing, he found a peace that was more profound than any victory, a strength that was more powerful than any sword, a greatness that was more authentic than any glory. Tonight, as you lie in your bed, you can be like the samurai in his moment of awakening. You can learn to look at the mirror of your life with courage and compassion. You can see all the parts of yourself, the parts you are proud of and the parts you are ashamed of, the parts you love and the parts you hate, and you can embrace them all. You can love them all. You can integrate them all. You are not just your light, you are also your shadow. You are not just your strength, you are also your weakness. You are not just your beauty, you are also your brokenness. And it is the integration of all these parts that makes you whole, that makes you human, that makes you beautiful. Rest now in the full and loving embrace of your own wholeness. Let go of your judgment, your criticism, your self-hatred. And in that letting go, you will find a self-love that is the source of all healing, a self-acceptance that is the source of all peace, a self-awareness that is the source of all wisdom. Sleep now. Sleep in the beautiful, clear, and compassionate mirror of your own true nature. As our journey through these stories of Zen wisdom comes to an end, let us take a moment to gather the threads of what we have learned. We have walked with the potter and the gardener, the musician and the painter, the cook and the boatman, the woodcarver and the archer, the bridge builder and the kite maker, the lantern maker and the mirror polisher. Each of them, in their own unique way, has shown us a path to a more peaceful, more joyful, and more meaningful life. They have taught us the wisdom of letting go, of surrendering to the flow of life, of dancing with the chaos of the universe. They have taught us the power of listening, of being present, of paying attention to the simple, ordinary moments of our lives. They have taught us the beauty of imperfection, the strength of softness, the freedom of emptiness. These are not just stories, they are seeds. They are seeds of peace, of joy, of love that have been planted in the garden of your heart. And like all seeds, they will grow in their own time, in their own way, if you just give them a little bit of light, a little bit of water, a little bit of love. As you drift off to sleep, you do not need to hold on to these stories. You can let them go. The wisdom has already been absorbed. The transformation has already begun. You can trust the process. You can trust your own inner wisdom. You can trust the love that is guiding you home. May your sleep be a journey into the heart of peace. May your dreams be a dance of joy and freedom. And may you awaken in the morning with a renewed sense of wonder, a deepened sense of purpose, and a boundless sense of love for yourself and for all beings. Thank you for sharing this sacred time with me. Before you drift away completely, I invite you to share in the comments the time and your location. It's a simple act, but it's a beautiful way to feel our connection, to know that we are all part of a global community of peace seekers, all resting under the same sky, all dreaming under the same moon. Good night, sleep well, and may you always walk in beauty. In a village known for its serene temple, there lived a bell maker named Kaito. Kaito's bells were not large or loud, but they were known for the purity and resonance of their sound. When one of Kaito's bells was rung, the sound would linger in the air, a gentle, vibrating hum that seemed to quiet the mind and soothe the soul. The temple had commissioned a great bell from Kaito, a bell that would be rung only on special occasions, a bell whose sound would be heard for miles around. Kaito was a master of his craft, but this bell was a challenge unlike any he had faced before. The size and weight of the bell required a perfect balance of metals, a precise temperature for casting, and a flawless mold. For months, Kaito worked tirelessly, his heart and mind consumed by the task. He made countless calculations, drew numerous designs, and cast several smaller bells as tests. He was determined to create a bell with a sound so pure it would be a prayer in itself. The day of the great casting arrived. The entire village gathered to watch. The molten bronze, glowing like the sun, was poured into the massive earthen mold. The air was thick with anticipation and the heat of the furnace. Kaito watched, his face a mask of intense concentration. He had done everything he could. Now, it was in the hands of the elements. The bell was left to cool for several days. When the mold was finally broken, the bell that emerged was a thing of beauty. Its surface was smooth and flawless, its form majestic. But the true test was yet to come. The bell was hoisted and hung in the temple's new belfry. The head monk, a man of great wisdom and peace, was to ring it for the first time. The monk struck the bell with a large wooden mallet. A sound emerged, but it was not the sound Kaito had envisioned. It was a dull, lifeless thud. There was no resonance, no purity, no lingering hum. It was a dead sound. A wave of disappointment washed over the crowd. Kaito's heart sank. He had failed. That night, Kaito could not sleep. He went to the temple and sat before the great, silent bell. He had poured all his knowledge, all his skill, all his effort into this bell, and it had failed. He felt a despair so deep, he wished the earth would swallow him. In his sorrow, he began to weep. His tears, hot and bitter, fell onto the cold bronze of the bell. As he sat there, lost in his grief, the head monk approached him. He sat beside Kaito and said nothing for a long time. Then he spoke, his voice as gentle as the moonlight that filtered into the belfry. "You have made a beautiful bell, Kaito," he said, "but you have forgotten the most important ingredient." "What is that, master?" Kaito asked, his voice choked with tears. "A bell is not just made of metal," the monk said. "It is made of spirit. It is not just a thing to be struck. It is a being to be awakened. You have put your mind into this bell, but you have not put your heart. You have put your skill, but you have not put your soul. You have been so focused on the perfection of the form that you have forgotten the essence of the sound." "The sound of a bell," the monk continued, "is the sound of a broken heart. It is the sound of a soul that has known suffering and has come through it with love. It is the sound of a being that has been shattered and has been made whole again. Your bell is too perfect, Kaito. It has not known suffering. It has not known love. It has not known the sound of a broken heart." Kaito looked at the bell and then at his own heart, and he understood. He had been so afraid of failure that he had not allowed himself to feel. He had been so focused on creating a perfect object that he had not allowed his own imperfect, human heart to be a part of the creation. He stood up and he went to the mallet. He did not strike the bell with the force of his ambition or the precision of his skill. He struck it with the love of his broken heart. And this time, the sound that emerged was not a thud. It was a song. It was a deep, resonant, and beautiful hum that filled the temple, the village, and the entire valley. It was the sound of a soul that had been awakened. Tonight, as you lie in your bed, you can be like Kaito in his moment of awakening. You can embrace your own brokenness, your own imperfection, your own humanity. You can know that it is not in your perfection that your true beauty lies, but in your imperfection. It is not in your strength that your true power lies, but in your vulnerability. It is not in your wholeness that your true light lies, but in your brokenness. You are a bell that has been struck by life. You have known joy and sorrow, love and loss, success, and failure. And it is all of these experiences that have created the unique and beautiful sound of your own soul. Do not be afraid of your brokenness. It is the source of your compassion, your wisdom, your love. It is the source of your song. Rest now in the deep, resonant, and beautiful sound of your own being. Let your heart be broken open so that the light of the universe can shine through you. And in that brokenness, you will find a wholeness that is beyond measure, a peace that is beyond understanding, a love that is beyond words. Sleep now. Sleep in the beautiful, heartbreaking, and soul-stirring song of your own life. In a village where the finest silk was woven, there lived a weaver named Mayu. Mayu's silk was not the most intricate or colorful, but it was the softest and most luminous. It was said that wearing a garment made from Mayu's silk was like being wrapped in a cloud or a moonbeam. Her secret was not in her technique, but in her relationship with her silkworms. While other weavers saw their silkworms as mere producers of thread, Mayu saw them as tiny, sacred beings. She tended to them with a loving care that bordered on reverence. She fed them the freshest mulberry leaves. She kept their environment clean and peaceful, and she would often sit with them for hours, simply watching them, sending them feelings of gratitude and love. Her fellow weavers thought she was eccentric. "They are just worms, Mayu," they would say. "Why do you treat them like royalty?" Mayu would just smile. "They are not just worms," she would reply. "They are alchemists. They turn leaves into light. They are my partners in creation. The quality of my silk is not a measure of my skill, it is a measure of my love." One season, a strange sickness swept through the silkworm population of the region. The worms became lethargic, they stopped eating, and the silk they produced was weak and brittle. The weavers were in a panic. Their livelihood was threatened. They tried all sorts of remedies, from herbal medicines to chemical treatments, but nothing seemed to work. Mayu's silkworms were also affected. She saw them suffering, and her heart was filled with a deep compassion. She did not resort to the remedies of the other weavers. Instead, she intensified her practice of love. She spent even more time with her silkworms. She cleaned their trays even more meticulously, and she selected the most tender, succulent mulberry leaves for them. But she did something else as well. She began to sing to them. She would sit by their trays for hours, and she would sing the most beautiful, gentle, and loving songs she knew. Her voice was not a performance, it was a prayer. It was a vibration of pure, unconditional love, sent from her heart to the hearts of her tiny partners. Slowly, miraculously, her silkworms began to recover. They began to eat again, they began to move again, and they began to spin silk again. And the silk they spun was not just strong and luminous. It was imbued with a quality that had never been seen before. It had a healing quality. It was as if the love that Mayu had poured into her silkworms had been woven into the very fabric of the silk. Word of Mayu's healing silk spread throughout the land. People came from all over to buy it, not just for its beauty, but for its ability to soothe the body, calm the mind, and heal the spirit. Mayu became a legend, not as a weaver, but as a healer, a lover, a saint. Tonight, as you lie in your bed, you can be like Mayu. You can recognize that you are not separate from the world around you. You are in a constant, intimate relationship with all of life, from the smallest insect to the brightest star. And the quality of your life is not a measure of what you do, but of how much you love. You can pour your love into everything you do, into everyone you meet, into every moment of your life. You can be a source of healing, of comfort, of peace, in a world that is so often in pain. You don't need to have a special skill or a grand mission. You just need to have a loving heart. Rest now in the soft, warm, and luminous embrace of your own loving heart. Know that your love is the most powerful force in the universe. It is the force that creates, the force that heals, the force that transforms. It is the force that weaves the fabric of life itself. Sleep now. Sleep in the beautiful, healing, and all-encompassing power of your own love. In a small town, there was a baker named Kenji, whose bread was the talk of the town. It was not just bread, it was a daily miracle. The crust was perfectly golden, the inside soft and airy. People would line up in the early morning, drawn by the irresistible aroma that wafted from his small bakery. Kenji, however, was a man in a constant state of rush. He was always thinking about the next batch, the next order, the next day. He was a master of his craft, but a stranger to the present moment. One day, an old monk who was passing through the town visited his bakery. He watched Kenji as he worked, a whirlwind of flour and motion. Kenji kneaded the dough with a speed and efficiency that was mesmerizing, but his mind was clearly elsewhere. He was shouting instructions to his apprentice, checking the clock on the wall, and mentally calculating the day's earnings, all at the same time. The monk bought a loaf of bread and took a bite. He chewed it slowly, thoughtfully. Then he said to Kenji, "Your bread is very good, but it could be better." Kenji, who was not used to criticism, was taken aback. "Better," he said. "I have the best bread in the whole province. What could possibly be better?" "Your bread has skill," the monk said, "but it does not have soul. You are so busy making the bread that you are not in the bread. You are so busy running your bakery that you are not in your bakery. You are so busy living your life that you are not in your life." The monk then asked for a small piece of dough. He began to knead it, but his movements were very different from Kenji's. They were slow, deliberate, and full of a quiet reverence. He was not just kneading dough, he was having a conversation with it. He was feeling its texture, its temperature, its life. He was fully present in that small piece of dough, in that small moment of time. He then shaped the dough into a small roll and he baked it in Kenji's oven. When it was done, he gave it to Kenji. "Taste this," he said. Kenji took a bite and his eyes widened in astonishment. It was the most delicious bread he had ever tasted. It was not just bread, it was an experience. It was a taste of peace, of presence, of love. "How did you do this?" Kenji asked, his voice full of a newfound humility. "I did not do it," the monk said. "The dough did it. The fire did it. The moment did it. I just got out of the way. I was just here. And when you are just here, everything becomes a miracle. Everything becomes a prayer. Everything becomes a taste of enlightenment." Tonight, as you lie in your bed, you can be like Kenji in his moment of awakening. You can let go of your rush, your busyness, your constant striving. You can come home to the present moment. You can be here, now, with whatever is, with the feeling of your breath, the sensation of your body, the sound of the silence. You don't need to go anywhere. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to be anyone. You just need to be here. And in this being here, you will find a peace that is more delicious than any bread, a joy that is more satisfying than any success, a love that is more fulfilling than any possession. Sleep now. Sleep in the simple, profound and miraculous taste of this present moment. In the vast blue ocean, there lived a young fish. The fish was a curious and adventurous creature, and he had heard stories from the older fish about a mysterious and wonderful thing called the ocean. They said that the ocean was everywhere, that it was the source of all life, that it was the home of all beings. The young fish was fascinated, and he decided that he would spend his life searching for the ocean. He swam far and wide, through coral reefs and kelp forests, over sandy plains, and into deep, dark canyons. He met many other creatures on his journey. He met a wise old turtle, a playful dolphin, a grumpy crab, and a school of shimmering sardines. He asked each of them the same question. "I am searching for the ocean. Can you tell me where to find it?" The other creatures would look at him with a puzzled expression. The turtle would say, "The ocean. You are in the ocean." The dolphin would say, "The ocean. It is all around you." The crab would say, "The ocean? You can't miss it." The sardines would say, "The ocean? We are the ocean." The young fish did not understand. He thought they were all crazy. He could see the water, of course, but he could not see the ocean. He thought that the ocean must be something else, something bigger, something grander, something more spectacular. He thought it must be a place that he had to get to, a thing that he had to find. He swam for years, until he was no longer a young fish, but an old and tired one. He had seen all the wonders of the underwater world, but he had not found the ocean. He was on the verge of despair. He felt that his life had been a failure. One day, he came to a very old and very wise whale. The whale was so big that he was like a living island, and his eyes were as deep and as ancient as the sea itself. The fish swam up to the whale and asked him the same question he had been asking his whole life. "I am searching for the ocean. Can you tell me where to find it?" The whale looked at the fish with a gentle and compassionate eye. "You have been searching for the ocean your whole life," the whale said, his voice a deep and resonant rumble, "but you have never found it. That is because you have been looking for it outside of yourself. You have been thinking of it as a place to get to, a thing to find. But the ocean is not a place. It is a presence. It is not a thing. It is a being. You are in the ocean, and the ocean is in you," the whale continued. "You are made of the ocean. You are a wave in the ocean. You are a thought in the mind of the ocean. You cannot not be in the ocean. The very act of searching for the ocean is the ocean searching for itself." The fish was stunned into silence. In that moment, he finally understood. He had been so busy searching for the ocean that he had not realized that he was already in it. He had been so busy looking for something else that he had not seen what was already here. He had been so busy trying to find his home that he had not realized that he was already home. He stopped searching, and he started seeing. He saw the water that surrounded him, the water that sustained him, the water that was him, and he knew that he had found the ocean, or rather, he knew that the ocean had found him. Tonight, as you lie in your bed, you can be like the fish in his moment of awakening. You can stop searching for peace, for joy, for love, for God. You can realize that you are already in it. You are already a part of it. You are already it. You are a wave in the ocean of being. You are a thought in the mind of the universe. You are a child in the arms of the Great Mother. You are already home. You have always been home. You will always be home. Rest now in the deep, vast, and loving embrace of the ocean of your own being. Let go of all your searching, all your striving, all your seeking. And in that letting go, you will find that you have already arrived. You are already whole. You are already free. Sleep now. Sleep in the peaceful, joyful, and loving heart of the ocean. In a monastery high in the mountains, where the air was thin and the sky was close, there lived a monk named Tenzo. Tenzo had been given the role of head cook, a position that some of the younger monks saw as lowly and unimportant. They believed that the true path to enlightenment lay in meditation, in study, in the mastery of ancient texts. They could not understand why their master would assign such an important position to someone who simply prepared food. But Tenzo understood. He knew that cooking was not separate from the path. It was the path. Every morning, he would wake before dawn, while the other monks were still sleeping. He would go to the kitchen, and he would begin his practice. He would light the fire, he would wash the rice, he would chop the vegetables, and he would do all of this with the same mindfulness, the same reverence, the same devotion that the other monks brought to their meditation cushions. He did not see the vegetables as mere ingredients. He saw them as gifts from the earth, as manifestations of the sun and the rain and the soil. He did not see the knife as a tool. He saw it as an extension of his own hand, his own heart, his own intention. He did not see the cooking as a chore. He saw it as a sacred ritual, a form of prayer, a way of serving the community. When he washed the rice, he washed it with gratitude. When he chopped the vegetables, he chopped them with love. When he stirred the soup, he stirred it with presence. He was not thinking about the past or the future. He was not thinking about enlightenment or fame or recognition. He was just here with the rice, the vegetables, the soup. He was just being. One day, a young monk named Jiro came to the kitchen. Jiro was brilliant and ambitious. He had memorized hundreds of sutras. He could debate the finest points of Buddhist philosophy, and he was considered by many to be a rising star in the monastery. But he was also restless, dissatisfied, and filled with a sense that something was missing. He watched Tenzo as he worked, and he could not hide his disdain. "Why do you waste your time with such mundane tasks, Tenzo?" he asked. "You could be meditating, studying, seeking enlightenment. Instead, you are here, chopping vegetables like a common servant." Tenzo looked up from his cutting board and smiled. "I am not chopping vegetables, Jiro," he said. "I am practicing enlightenment. Every chop is a meditation. Every stir is a prayer. Every meal is a teaching." Jiro scoffed. "That is ridiculous," he said. "Enlightenment is found in the meditation hall, not in the kitchen. It is found in the sutras, not in the soup." Tenzo put down his knife and looked at Jiro with a gentle, compassionate gaze. "Tell me, Jiro," he said, "when you sit in meditation, where is your mind?" Jiro hesitated. It is trying to be still," he said, "but it is often filled with thoughts, with distractions, with restlessness." "And when you study the sutras," Tenzo asked, "where is your heart?" It is trying to understand," Jiro said, "but it is often filled with doubt, with confusion, with a sense of inadequacy." "And when you are here, in this moment, right now," Tenzo said, "where are you?" Jiro was silent. He realized that he was not really here. His body was in the kitchen, but his mind was elsewhere. He was thinking about the meditation he should be doing, the sutras he should be studying, the enlightenment he should be seeking. He was everywhere but here. "Enlightenment is not somewhere else, Jiro," Tenzo said. "It is right here, right now. It is in the chopping of the vegetables, the washing of the rice, the stirring of the soup. It is in the simple, ordinary, everyday tasks of life, when they are done with a full heart, a quiet mind, and a loving presence. The kitchen is my meditation hall. The vegetables are my sutras. The soup is my enlightenment. From that day on, Jiro became Tenzo's student. He learned to cook, not just as a skill, but as a practice. He learned to be present, not just in the kitchen, but in every moment of his life. And in the simple act of chopping vegetables, he found the enlightenment he had been seeking. Tonight, as you lie in your bed, you can be like Jiro in his moment of awakening. You can realize that the sacred is not separate from the ordinary. The divine is not separate from the mundane. Enlightenment is not somewhere else. It is right here, right now, in this very moment, in this very breath, in this very heartbeat. You don't need to go to a monastery. You don't need to become a monk. You don't need to master ancient texts. You just need to be here. You just need to be present. You just need to bring your full heart, your quiet mind, and your loving attention to whatever you are doing, whatever you are feeling, whatever you are experiencing. And in that simple, profound, and sacred presence, you will find all the peace, all the joy, all the enlightenment you could ever wish for. Rest now in the ordinary, sacred, and enlightened heart of this present moment. Sleep now. Sleep in the loving embrace of the here and now. As we come to the end of our journey together, let us rest in the profound silence that underlies all of these stories. The silence that is not the absence of sound, but the presence of peace. The silence that is not empty, but full. The silence that is not dead, but alive with the vibration of the universe itself. In this silence, all the stories we have shared dissolve back into the one story. The story of the universe awakening to itself. The story of consciousness becoming aware of its own nature. The story of love recognizing itself in every form, in every being, in every moment. You are a character in this story, but you are also the author. You are a wave in the ocean, but you are also the ocean. You are a note in the symphony, but you are also the symphony. You are a part of the whole, but you are also the whole. This is the great mystery, the great paradox, the great truth of Zen. You are both the seeker and the sought. You are both the question and the answer. You are both the journey and the destination. And in this realization, all seeking comes to an end. All questions dissolve. All journeys are complete. You are already home. You have always been home. You will always be home. There is nowhere to go, nothing to do, no one to become. There is only this moment, this breath, this heartbeat. There is only this peace, this joy, this love. May you rest in this truth tonight and always. May you wake in the morning with a renewed sense of wonder at the miracle of your own existence. May you walk through your days with a quiet confidence in the wisdom of the universe. And may you always remember that you are loved, you are held, you are home. Thank you for sharing this sacred journey with me. Before you drift into the deep waters of sleep, I invite you once more to share in the comments the time and your location. It's a beautiful reminder that we are all connected, all part of this great web of life, all resting under the same stars, all dreaming the same dream. Good night, dear friend. Sleep well, and may you always walk in beauty, peace, and love.